Anyway, this time on how to build a Stormtrooper, we're going to be looking at, we're going to move on. We've done the limbs, if you remember from our previous videos, that were very like this, but we dealt with them. Well, this time we're going to deal with these. These are the torso pieces. Sorry, that's going to interfere with the microphone. So this is the more, it's very dusty, I apologise for that. So here we go. I'm going to show you trimming these pieces down. So what I'm going to concentrate on is the actual trimming. Like we did with all of the limb areas, I think it's going to be a lot simpler if we concentrate on the trimming as one operation, and then we'll move on to the trim pieces and dealing with them and building them. So this time we're going to trim out. See, common sense tells me to trim the back because the front's more obvious and we can practice on the back, but I'm not going to do that. So if you want to do that, then that's fine. Wait for the next video where we do the back. But I think I'm going to start with the front because it's a little bit more interesting. And I don't know, I've got a feeling that it's going to go well. So here we go. The front is basically made up of two pieces. But you already knew that. Can you get that? So these are the two pieces. Obviously these are going to get joined together and then they're going to join to the back. So let's start trimming these out. Now we don't need a massive amount of return edge. Yours is probably going to look something like this when it's straight out the box. So we don't need a huge amount of return edge. But what we do need is enough return edge to get our screws through comfortably. Okay, so what I'm going to do is for now I'm going to trim it out at about 5-6 mil, maybe a little bit more than that, just so that we've got it kicked into the rough shape. I like to rough it out and then finesse it later. So I'm building this original size. We've got a little more on here than we need for the original size. So the original is going to be, again, it's about 10 mil from this line. I'll just draw it on there. This line here, we want about 10 mil, which is just enough to hold the snap and the in fact it doesn't need it on there, but it's just enough on this side to hold the rivets. Forget this side, it doesn't hold anything. Then we've got a little curved area here. Then I've marked these on so that you can see them. There's definitely these points. So we've got 1 straight, 2 straight, 3 straight. So these are very, very angular on the suit. And this mirrors what's going on the back of the thighs, where it's got straight lines that kind of build a curve. Now, we don't need quite as much return edge on this area as we did up here because we don't have any screw fixings or anything going on. So I'll draw that on. If I draw this on, it's going to be a bit easier for you to see. So, and we've got an idea there, so we're just going to follow that through. Then round and then back up the other side, just the same. So again, I'm just getting the depth using the pencil and the finger, the old builder's trick. Right, so I've roughed it out. That's pretty much where I want to be trimming to. A little bit darker with the pencil so you can see that. So can you pick that up? Yeah? Is that working? This edge is probably the more crucial one because this is where our fixings need to go. Later down the line you might decide you don't want to use the fixings, but I'm going to build this as though we are using the fixings and then we'll discuss other methods when we get there. Okay, same again. So I'm just going to pick out, obviously we've got quite a sharp angle here and here, but this is really straightforward, this piece. There's just not much really that you can get wrong. So we've just got probably 4 or 5 mil return edge. If in doubt, leave a little bit more on. You can always take it off again. Easy to cut it down a little more. just to sand away. If you're confident, you're just going to dive straight into this. But if you're a little bit more wary, then just take your time. It's not a race. Unless you're building a Stormtrooper race, then it is a race. But you're probably not if you're watching this video, so I'm going to assume that you're not. Again, this bottom edge is where our screw fixings are going to go, so this needs to be a slightly bigger return edge, so that when you drill the hole for them, you're not too close to the edge of the plastic. So this is a bit, if any, if you're going to leave a bit more on. But here, I mean, even the formings dictate how much you've got. Right, so I'm quite happy with that. I've left a little more on than we need on the bottom edge. But in general, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to start trimming this. So we've got a nice 3, 4, 5, down to personal choice really, return edge round here, slightly deeper on the bottom, and then back to that original sort of 5mm-ish return edge. I'm going to trim a little bit more out at the tops of these where the shoulder bridges are going to go, but I'll show you that in a few moments. And then round this one, again, we've got the deeper return edge here to allow for the fixings, and then we've got sort of a 10mm round the side, both sides, where the rivets are going to go. The stud goes on the front, and then we've got a similar return edge, 5mm, I'm going to call it, round the bottom here, all the way around the cod. And that's it. It's just a case of trimming it out now. I've got my nice big grippy wheel in. Don't put your T too close to what you're trimming, because ruined. So there we go. So that gives you an idea of where we need to be. You can see the shape starting to form with this area that's going to be in the crotch. So now it's a case of just giving this a quick sand, and then I can go through any little detail areas. Oh, but as you can see, so far, so simple. Right, I've still got this to deal with, this excess on the top. But what I did when I was sanding this return edge, I blended it out to the top. You can see there how it's thicker, it's blending down to next to nothing. So it's comfortable, fits on the body, looks right. So I'm just going to cut these off now. You can see there's a line already in there. I'm just going to cut to that line. And because this is blended away to next to nothing, I can just use the shears. Going to take a little more off there now just to finish that off. See this line, that's what we want. That's one of those little Star Wars details that a lot of people don't really appreciate. So we've got definitely a straight and then a straight, and then the return edge on the bottom there. So if I get that in the right angle, you should be able to see that whole shape. A little bit more on the bottom because we've got our fixings to go in there. We may trim more off later if needs be. If not, we'll just leave it. And then again, the opposite side, just try and remove my pencil marks now. So I'm just going to sand the edges on that. codpiece, slight return on that hinge side. So there we go. We've got this slightly thicker return edge around the top. This is where our screw fixings are going to be placed. Then we've got about 10mm down the sides. So I've left about 10mm on there. There is more plastic that you can leave on if you're 34, 36 waist. That's going to help you. And if you're bigger than that, then you're going to need that. Plus, we're going to add some, but that's a different story. But I've trimmed it down to that. So if you're like 32 waist, nice slim like the guys wore this stuff, that's where you need to be. Then the interesting bit, which may not really realise. So we've got a bit of a curve going on here, and then again we've got this definite angular cutout going on. Now this is repeated. We see it on Boba Fett as well. It's on a few other costumes in Star Wars. There's this real angular sculpt going on. So that's very purposeful, and we need to recapture that in the trimming. That can't be done in the back forming. This is where the trimming is important. And this is an interesting piece. This is one of the most important pieces to trim correctly. But there, you can see that, again, you can see that angle. So you can see what's going on down the side of the costume there with the angles. So, it's pretty simple, dead easy to trim out. This is one of the really important ones to get right. Obviously the chest, because it's a focal point. But there you go. 2 pieces trimmed. So next time we'll be trimming the back, middle back, butt plate. So hopefully that's given you a bit of confidence. And if you like the video, do hit that like button. Comment below if you've got any questions. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, goodbye. There you go, simple as that. This is how we build stuff. So if you need a kit, you can get on the website. If, however, you've seen this and you think, this is not for me and I don't have the time, don't worry. We also have fully built commissions and fully built stuff. All on the website. Just click through, choose your character, it's all there for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.